Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Kamal Robinson. I'm back with another video, man. Listen, I know y'all probably getting sick and tired of me, but it's all right. Get used to it because you're going to see a lot of me, inshallah. So check this out. Listen, so I want to do another video. I just want to give y'all, I always talk a lot about money and finances. That's my main focus right now. Hustle and motivate. More so to empower others to focus more so on business and finances and entrepreneurship as opposed to what I call jobism or striving to be or settling with being a lifetime employee. So listen, if you see any of my if you see my post on my page, my Facebook page, if you see in my videos, I'm always talking about money. But the thing is that I realize is that if you don't know nothing about me, the question is like, all right, if a person knows nothing about me, why would they even pay attention to anything that I had to say? Whether it's about money, whether about health or fitness or whatever, right? It makes sense. If you don't know the person don't have no background, why should you listen to them? What makes that person an authority on the subject? So first and foremost, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not an authority. I'm not a financial guru. However, I've read a lot of financial books. I've learned some things, I've studied some things, and most importantly, I've applied quite a few things successfully over the last 7 years, especially with stock investing. And this is one of the main reasons I'm so adamant about preaching this, especially to the ummah, especially to the people that look like me and that come from my demographic. Because a lot of us, we're so stuck in our ways of working a job and working these hours and working two jobs and working all these hours that we miss the big picture. We work crazy hard for very little in return. Most of us only work just to maintain our bills, and then after that, we ain't got nothing left. We ain't got no savings and no nothing, and that's bad. So anyway, let me get a little bit into my background of specifically why I think how I think as far as finances and as far as what I believe wholeheartedly that you and I could do together, like the levels we can reach, the financial freedom we can achieve, the self-empowerment, the personal development. Like we can literally change things. All right, so let me go back. It really, as far as finances, it really all started. So when I was 18, I caught a case. I went upstate, right? I did 5 years. My first case, I did 5 years. I came home after 5 years with the intent of doing everything the right way. I actually learned how to weld when I was upstate. I came home, got a welding job. 1375 was my first job. Came home making 1375. I felt like I hit the jackpot, yo. 1375. I'm like, damn, I'm a felon. I came home, got a job with U-Haul welding, Fairless Hills, PA. 1375. Was doing good, off on the right foot. So listen, I'm home. I'm still home playing with the dad's house. So I'm staying with dad. I'm working. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Trying to get my gear back up. I like Ralph Lauren, as you can see. So I'm always up Franklin Mills. I'm up the Mills. It's the Philadelphia Mills now. So I'm always up the Mills. I'm shopping. I'm getting my gear up. So one particular day I'm up there. I'm at the Polo outlet. I'm actually ready to leave. So I'm looking at these shirts. As you know, polo shirts, you get the plain polo. It's a lot of colors. So there's one particular shirt. I like this style of shirt. It's like 5 or 6 colors. Man, I must have sat there for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what, because I could only afford one color, right? So I'm sitting there. I kept picking it up, putting it down, picking it up, putting it down, picking it up, putting it down. I couldn't decide which color I wanted, right? But I can only afford one color. And I swear this annoyed me. This grinded my gears to no end. Like I was heated. It felt like I was there for like an hour, and it felt like people was watching me. Like, why has this guy been over here looking at these shirts for like an hour? I couldn't figure out which color I wanted. And that once I finally picked the color, like I was upset. I was upset because I'm like, damn, I would like to be able to get all the colors. Like if I like the shirt and I like all the colors, I want to be able to get every color. I had to settle for one, right? So also when I'm leaving, I'm making my way to the register. I see this pretty white, oh man, it was like a pearl white. It was a spring jacket. And this joint was sharp. And I couldn't afford it. So I'm looking at the jacket. I'm like, let me get out of this joint. Let me get out of this joint. So I leave. Needless to say, it left a bad taste in my mouth, right? It left a bad taste in my mouth because let me rewind it back. So listen, well, most of us, when we done what we do in the streets, when we're doing what we're doing on the streets, it's mainly because it's different reasons. Some of us is kind of grew up hard. and they were almost kind of forced to go that route. For me, it wasn't that way with me. I never wanted for nothing. I had both my mom and my dad was home. Neither one of them were drug addicts or alcoholics or any of that. They both worked. My dad had a pretty good job as a mechanic, you know, always did fairly good. I was born in 83. I grew up in North Philly, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, North Philly. If there's anybody from overseas watching this, I'm from the United States, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I grew up in 1983. And for any of y'all that grew up in that era, y'all know what it was. It was that, you know what era that was that came through. So the streets, or mainly my brothers ran the streets. They made a lot of money in the streets. So that's pretty much who I modeled that's who I wanted to be like. Not even really be like, but I've seen the money they made, the lifestyle. So that's what I was after. And for a lot of us that kind of went that route, it was the lifestyle we was after. The freedom, the money, the cars, not having to answer to nobody. So that's what appealed to me. So that's why I did what I did, which kind of landed me where it landed me, right? So anyway, fast forward, I did my time. I did 5 years. I came home. I was doing good. I was getting a job. Had my job. I'm working. Go to the low shop. Couldn't buy the shirts I wanted. Left a bad taste in my mouth. Didn't leave there and say, all right, listen, I'm going to do something negative. I'm going to turn to the streets. No, it never crossed my mind. But dig what happened after that. Cousin of mine also came home not too long before me. Cousin wasn't doing too good. Cousin was trying to walk the straight and narrow. He had a job, got fired from his job because he lied on an application. Said he wasn't never convicted of a felon or a crime or whatever it was, but he lied, but they found out some time later he got fired. So now he's struggling. He ain't got nothing. So he like, listen, cuz, he came to me. He like, cuz, listen, man, I'm kind of doing bad. You know, if we can get this, we can move this, we can make some money. Now, mind you, the offer he made, to me, it was an offer I couldn't refuse because all he wanted was the cash. He basically wanted an investment. I give him the money. He do all the footwork. He run. We split the profits. So I'm like, all right, bet. If I ain't got to risk my freedom, I can do that all day. So, cuz, how much you need to get started? He said, we can get a squirrely. Cuz, what's a squirrely? I didn't even know what a squirrely was. I'm like, cuz, all right, talk to me. What's a squirrely? Oh, 7 grams. All right, bet. How much is it? Back then, it was like $250. I'm like, $250? All right, bet, when you need it, right? I had that in my savings account because I'm an avid saver. I've always been great with handling money. I could save consistently. Every week I saved. So I went right and got that. I gave it to him. Like, all right, cuz, hit me back when you get everything. So we get everything. He's showing me the ropes, you know, blah, blah, blah. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. Bang. So I'm learning, but at the same time, I'm still not touching everything. I'm just waiting for the money to come back. So we do that for a little while. Things don't go exactly how we want it to go. Things are slow, but I'm like, okay, cool. Sometimes things take time, especially with business and investing. I learned that. It takes time, right? So we running things. I get a phone call from one of my homies. He's out Poxtown, Montgomery County. He did some time. He came home. He like, damn, why don't y'all come out here and holler at me? Now, mind you, we weren't going out there to do nothing illegal. I'm going out there just to holler at my childhood friend. He was my right-hand man growing up. So I'm like, all right, bet, I'll go out there. I take my cousin with me too. So we busting it up. He like, yeah, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm moving a little something out here. So we like, damn, yeah, you moving that? Well, we got this going on. So he like, damn, y'all can bring that out here. You can have this out. And then that's how that happened. So initially, I'm going to pick up cousin. We going out Poxtown. You know, we making our moves. It got to the point where I would go to pick up cousin. Cousin wasn't ready. Cousin was procrastinating. So I'm like, all right, F it. I'm going to go out there by myself. And that's where everything went wrong. So now when I wasn't supposed to have my hands in nothing, now my hands is in everything. I'm ran up. I'm taking trips, carrying stuff in the car. The car is dirty, blah, blah, blah. I'm out there. Long story short, catch another case while on parole. Back upstate, 3 years, right? So now I'm hurt. I'm heartbroken. I've never felt so low in my life. I mean, I honestly think I went through a stage of depression. Why? Because for like the first week, I didn't eat. It wasn't because I was just being, I don't know. It wasn't that I was just turning down the food. Like I literally had no appetite. Like the first time they gave me a meal or these little cold packs, these little sandwiches that be on this little foam tray with plastic wrapped over it. I tried to eat it. I couldn't eat it. Like I was just, my mind was going, oh, I gave the food away and I drank the drink. Drank the drink, right? So I'm in this room. I'm in Montgomery County. We in this room. We packed in this room. It's cots everywhere. Wall-to-wall cots. Roll over to your right on the cot, a man in your face. Roll over to the left of the cot, man in your face. For the first couple of days, I didn't offer salad. I didn't do nothing. I was depressed. Mainly because I knew I'm going back upstate. Mostly because I let my parents down. That was the main thing that hurt me. It was like, damn, how am I going to call my mother and my father and tell them I'm back upstate? That was like the hardest thing in life for me. The disappointment that I knew that they would feel. It's kind of hard for y'all to gauge it because I have a certain, I guess, reputation with my family. You know, I'm looked at in a certain light. Not saying that I'm, you know, on this pedestal, but I have a, you know how it go. When people look at you, you're supposed to uphold a certain standard. To make that phone call, it was like, oh my God. Oh man, it broke my heart. And I know it broke their heart. So anyway, I'm in Montgomery County. I'm depressed. I'm going through depression. I'm not eating. I'm not praying. Finally, I got up, man, mashallah. I actually had to talk to the officer because I couldn't pray in the room. The room was too packed. So I'm like, listen, sir, I need to offer my prayer. Can I go into that empty room over there? He's like, sure, cool, go ahead. So that was cool. The great thing behind that, it was a few other brothers in there too that they started to offer with me. So it was a blessing wrapped up in that. So anyway, fast forward, we go to another room in there. We in this big ass gym, sleeping on the floor. It smelled like a zoo in there. And matter of fact, I didn't even notice how bad it smelled until we actually left one day to shower and we came back in the joint. It was like, oh my God, make your eyes water. Make your eyes water. And like, we all in there like animals, you know. Very few showers. We packed in there. People sick. We on the floor. It was, so anyway. After that transition, I go from there, I go to Greatersford. I'm still depressed. I'm up in the fort, and actually, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I actually cried when I got to the fort. Wasn't my first time in the fort, but once I got there, it was just like everything was settled, everything was sinking in. It was like, damn, I'm going back upstate. Because at first I didn't want to buy commissary, I didn't want to buy nothing because I felt that if I bought commissary, it solidified the fact that I was going to do another bid. I wasn't ready to accept that yet. I wasn't. So I got in that cell. Matter of fact, when the first time I came through the fort, it was on the new side, but this was the old side. The joint looked like something you've seen out the Shawshank Redemption. The walls were sweating. You see the marks running down the wall, the toilet, the floors, it was just, I cried. I was in there by myself, so it was hard to cry. Nobody's seeing me, so I literally cried. And I'm still going through my depression. The only thing here is I ate, but all I did was eat and sleep. And the bad thing is that I didn't have any books. I didn't have nothing to read to occupy my mind. So the only thing that was on my mind was the case, my parents, the girlfriend I had that I was in Montgomery County, because she was still writing, she was still sending money, she was holding me down. All right. So I'm going through it. And actually, I even got a little belly. Like I was in there with a belly, like a small dude with my small frame with a pot belly. But eventually I started going out to the yard. I met this older brother. His name was Ibrahim, Puerto Rican. Beast too. At that time he was 44. This was some years ago. So yeah, he up there now. But at 44, he was a monster. I mean, pull-ups, push-ups, he had me on his workout. He was smoking me on the workout too. And I was pretty strong, but at that time I was, I don't know, he was smoking me. But anyway, I'm getting to the yard, but I'm still kind of stressing. I'm still eating, I'm still sleeping. Eat, sleep, pray. Eat, sleep, pray. That's all I did. Then finally I got some books to kind of help ease my mind. I got something to kind of focus on. That helped a lot. That helped a whole lot. So finally do that, go upstate, bang. So I'm sitting back. So I'm basically I already know I'm going to do 3 years now. So I go back to the home jail. Got to go through all that, seeing the same COs. Robinson, you said you were never going to be back. I got to go through that nonsense, right? And even that's humiliating. I thought you was never coming back. Humiliating. Like that was the other thing that killed me because it's like the humiliation. Right. So anyway, so now I'm back up here. I know I'm going to be up here for 3 years. Cool. It is what it is. The mentality now is that there's a certain lifestyle I want to live, and I'm not going to settle for anything less than that. What am I going to do when I get out here to not jeopardize my freedom again and live the lifestyle that I want? To be able to live free, to be able to do what I want to do, to be able to build businesses, to be able to teach my family how to build businesses. So we ain't got to work for somebody else. How am I going to live this lifestyle? How am I going to get that Benz? How am I going to get that 911 I want? How am I going to get that crib out Colorado and on Lake Tahoe? How am I going to get this without risking my freedom? How am I going to do this? And also without stepping on somebody else. or preying on somebody else's misery. How am I going to do this? What's the moves we going to make to get these millions without risking our freedom? How are we going to do this? So I spent them 3 years reading Warren Buffett, learning stocks, paying attention. The iPhone and all that stuff came out when I was upstate. And I was on all that, just following everything, following the trends, the new companies, the new technology, what's going on, you know, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. I'm eating all this up because it's like, all right, when I get out of here, we got to make a move. And we're not going to work. We're not going to work until we 50. Yeah, I said 50. That's that. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Back then, I'm like, we're not going to work. We're not going to work to 50. We're definitely not going to work till 60, 65, 70. And I seen guys that did it. The job I had before I got into the union, McGuire, it was an old head. He was like 77, still working, could barely walk. Yo, listen, cool old head. We called him Old Pat. There was 2 Pats. It was Drunk Pat and it was Old Pat. Old Pat was like 70, like 77, still coming to work. Could barely do anything, but they always gave him easy tasks. But anyway, that wasn't the goal. Even before I seen him, I already made my mind up that I was not going to do that, right? I already made my mind up that I'm not going to go that route. We're not going to go that route. So it was like, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to get this chicken? So the move was to read and learn. And one of the most influential books, and I'm telling you, if you haven't read this book, go get it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was the paradigm shift for me and my mentality as far as money and as far as how we're going to achieve this freedom, as far as how we're going to get these millions. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Change my financial mentality. That was the start of my financial education. What he made me realize in that book, which still goes on today, sadly, with most of us, with most of y'all, is that we're in 2019 going into 2020, but we use the same strategies that our parents taught us. Our parents grew up in a completely different era than we grew up in. They're using the same strategy that their parents taught them. How and why we still try to follow this as a success strategy in 2020 is beyond me. It's completely irrational because the era we live in, this economic climate is completely different from the climate that our parents grew up in. You get what I'm saying? When they came up, and even especially their parents, it was commonplace to stay at one job or one factory all the way up until retirement, get a pension and get Social Security. That's dead right now. How many of y'all that's watching this that probably already been through a few jobs and probably gonna go through a few more, inshallah, before it's all said and done? I know I've been through quite a few. I've been laid off numerous of times. So I know what that's like, right? I know what it's like. But that's where the start came. So it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It made me realize that going to school, getting good grades, going to college, graduating college, get a job that pays benefits is not the way. Not in this era. Not in this era. Companies going out of business. Companies get bored out and taken over. Once somebody else take over, they lay everybody off and fire them. Like the things is different right now. But also, because of the technology we got, I don't even understand why people settle for that route. Because of the technology we got, the playing field has been leveled out drastically. As far as doing whatever you want to do, the barriers to entry for the most part is gone. You don't need all the money that you used to need back then in order to get into certain things. Because you got YouTube, you got social media, and it's free to get on there. If we only just stop and look at these methods, these tools we got, we'll go much further. So that's kind of where my mentality came from. It came from the fact that I kept falling. I took big falls because I was doing things to live a certain lifestyle, and I still want that same lifestyle. But more importantly, I want that lifestyle not just for me and myself, but I want it for y'all. Because I see a bigger picture. Like my goals, my dreams, my aspirations are much greater than what they was back then. Yes, I still want the nice things. I still want to be able to go in a Lowe's store and buy every color of a specific style of shirt. You know, if I want the low hoodie, I want every color of the hoodie and the sweatpants too. I still want it. I still want the 911. I still want the Benz. I still want the Beamer. I still want the house on the lake. I still want the house in the mountains. But more importantly, I still want the legacy. I want the security for my daughters that's coming up, for my family. I want the legacy. But even bigger than that, as far as the legacy goes, I want the whole ummah to come up. I want our whole demographic to change. But it's only going to change if the mentality changes. If we still only see working a job and working 2 jobs and working 60 to 80 hours a week as the end all be all, man, in another 10 years, we're going to be so far behind. We already behind. And the gap, I think I told you on another video, the gap is still growing. They talking about billionaires is being created at an alarming rate. But the poor is steadily getting poorer. Why is that? Because the poor continue to do the same thing that the poor was doing for the last 20 years. That's the difference. Once you realize that the multi-millionaires and billionaires is going a certain route, is using a certain method, and that you can mimic and copy their method, then things will start to change. But you can't be scared. You can't be skeptical. You can't be stuck in your ways. You can't be afraid what somebody else is going to think about you because you're trying something different other than working. Because if they work, that's all they're hoping you did. They don't want to see you step out and dream big and shoot for the stars. They don't want that. You got to realize that. But once we realize that and we step out and we take the path of entrepreneurship, of business ownership, we start to think big and dream big and also realize that whatever we dream and think about, it could come to fruition. Then things start to change. And that's what I'm here to do, to hustle and motivate. Because I'm not going to let you think small. If you and I are friends and we close and we sync up, we link up, we get to talking about whatever, you're not going to think small, not around me. I ain't going to let it happen. That's one of my main reasons I'm here. And again, I'm not a millionaire. I feel like one. I'm on a path to one, inshallah. I can tell you that because I can't see life for me no other way. And the thing is, what I see for me, I see for you because I want for my brother the same thing that I want for myself and the sisters. But first, you got to think outside your little box you've been living in. Point blank, period. So anyway, I ain't going to keep y'all too much long. I just wanted to get that off my chest, kind of give you a little bit of insight to why I think the way I think. And it's mainly, like I said, because I did certain things because I wanted a certain lifestyle. And because I wanted a certain lifestyle, I took some certain steps to learn. And I've read a lot of books. And I'm not done reading. I got a lot more to read, inshallah. I've applied some strategies from the wealthy people that I read from. And I've applied them successfully within the last 7 years. As far as tax loopholes, as far as investments, I've done some things, but I'm only getting started. You hear me? But again, man, that's it, man. My name is Kamal Robinson, man. Hopefully, I get to hear from some of y'all and link up with some of y'all. We can sync and talk some business, man, and make some moves, some real moves. But in the meantime, y'all be cool, man. Be safe out here. Move smooth. Peace and blessings.